Hello bookworms! Today I'm here with my combined May and June book haul minus my BEA book haul because May was probably like the biggest month for me of books this year. I got so many books at BEA and I've already posted that video. I'll leave a link to it down below. But on top of that, there was also May 3rd, which was like the biggest book release day in the world, pretty much ever, I think. There were just so many books that came out. It was like unreal. Like wow. There actually were very few new releases that I wanted to get in June. So I figured I would just combine these two videos to make it easier and have one place to show you both months of books. My new thing, I really like wearing this bow like behind my head because it makes me feel like Blake from Ruby. So the first book that I have to show you, trying not to knock down the giant tower of books next to me, is The Crown by Kira Cass. This is the final book in the selection series. It is book number 5 and it follows Edelyn, who is America's daughter, during her selection, and we'll get to find out what her choice is. I actually haven't read The Heir yet either. I was waiting because I knew that this was coming out really soon and I figured that I would just read both of them like close together. This series is just really fun. It's not very well written, but it's like reading a reality show. So if you're into that, then you would probably like this. Then I have The Unexpected Everything by Morgan Matson. This is a new contemporary book by Morgan Matson. It has the same kind of summery cover, which really appeals to me. So I am really excited to read this one. It follows a girl named Andy who has her entire life planned out. She has everything all set for the summer with this really cool internship that she has, but then her dad, who's a congressman, gets himself involved in a political scandal and everything that she planned is kind of coming apart and she has to kind of just go with the flow. And the book is about her trying to pick up the pieces of her summer, figure out what her new plan is going to be, and also maybe try to let go of planning a little bit. I'm just so excited. And I love that Morgan Matson has ice cream on the cover of this book too, because Since You've Been Gone is like one of my favorite book covers ever. And she just has such great covers. Like, good job, Morgan Matson. Then I got Summer of Sloane by Erin L. Schneider. This is her debut novel. I actually read this back in January, thanks to my friend Andy, who runs the book blog Andy's ABCs, which I will leave a link to down below. She sent me a copy of her arc to read because I had said that I was like really looking forward to this one, and I ended up loving it. It follows a girl named Sloane who, within the first 2 pages, you find out this major drama that she's involved in. She already has a trip planned to Hawaii with her twin brother and they're going to visit their mom for the summer. So she's able to kind of run away from her problem for the entire summer, which is really nice. But, you know, as summer is coming to an end, she kind of has to start dealing with things, and I just really liked it. I thought it was very well written, and I thought that the main character was way more mature than you would expect someone in her position to be. So I thought it was really good. The whole premise just reminds me kind of Forgetting Sarah Marshall. So if you're looking for like a fun summer read, I would definitely recommend checking this one out. Then I have A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas, which I believe is going to be my favorite book of the entire year. It picks up right where A Court of Thorns and Roses left off. You get to find out what's been happening to our protagonist and to the males in her life. I really, really enjoyed this one. I don't want to give a synopsis of it because I don't want to spoil anything, but I will tell you that the first book was a retelling of Beauty and the Beast, and the second book is a retelling of Hades and Persephone. And it just blows A Court of Thorns and Roses out of the water. It was phenomenal, like so phenomenal. Then I got The Fireman by Joe Hill. This is a really big adult horror type book. Joe is actually Stephen King's son. I've read several of his other books and I've read the Lock and Key comic series, which I really love. So I was eager to pick this up. I don't know when I'm going to get to it because, as I said, it is a giant book. In the book, there is a disease that is kind of like taking over the world. It's called Dragon Scale, and anyone who gets infected, unfortunately, that's it for them. There's no cure for this disease. And it follows a woman who is very nice, like very good-hearted, and I believe she's a nurse, and she devotes the rest of her life to trying to help people that are infected with this disease. She has a really horrible husband who is not a nice person. It's more a book about like humanity than it is about the disease portion of it, so it sounds really interesting. I like when books take that kind of stance on issues like this. So it just sounds really good, and I'm looking forward to reading this one. The next book that I got is The May Queen Murders by Sarah Jude. This is a horror novel. I'm probably going to wait until like October to read this one because I love reading scary books right before Halloween. But it follows a girl named Ivy, and she lives in this town where there was a person who got crowned queen at Glen's May Day celebration, and then she was murdered. So this book takes place, I believe it's like years after that, but Ivy's cousin Heather gets crowned queen at the May Day parade, and then she turns up missing. So it's kind of like a mystery to find out, like to try to save, obviously, her cousin Heather, and then also to figure out what it is that's happening and why girls are being murdered when they're crowned at this. And it just takes place in a very like superstitious town. So it sounds interesting. I have heard a few negative things about it, about how there are some disturbing scenes with animals. So if that's something that really bothers you, you might want to steer clear of this one. Then I got Wild Swans by Jessica Spotswood. This book I read and I really enjoyed. It also follows a main character named Ivy, and it's about her family history, how every single woman in her family, each of them had like their own issues, and she is trying to work through and find her own place in the world. So it's really like a self-discovery story, and it was really, really well written. I really enjoyed it. The next book that I have is The Square Root of Summer by Harriet Ruder Hapgood. This is a contemporary book, but it has a sci-fi twist because it follows a girl who accidentally enters a wormhole, and then she begins living all of her past, present, and future summers over and over again, and she sees all of the heartbreak that she goes through, and she kind of becomes determined to rewrite history and change some things. But I've heard that it's very scientific, so I'm interested in reading it because I really do enjoy the science of time travel. I just hope that it's not going to be too convoluted. I guess I'll find out when I read it. The next book that I picked up is Highly Illogical Behavior by John Corey Whaley. Liz from Lizzie Books convinced me to read this. We were roommates at BEA and she was reading it, and her description just sounded so good about it, so I immediately bought it like as soon as I got home. It follows a boy named Solomon who is 16 years old, and he has agoraphobia, which means that he is afraid to leave his house. So he just stays inside all day, and it is just following him and about his mental illness and about him trying to get help and trying to overcome the fear of going out. And it just sounds really, really good. It looks like it's going to be a really quick read, super short. I'm probably going to pick this up as one of my next reads. The next book was sent to me by Penguin, and it sounds really, really good. It's called The Inside of Out. It's by Jen Marie Thorne. It follows a girl named Daisy who, her best friend Hannah comes out the day before their junior year of high school, and then Daisy decides to try to get her school to get rid of the ban that they have on same-sex dances. So she's really doing all of this for her friend because she's straight, but her friend is a lesbian, and she doesn't think it's fair that her friend isn't allowed to bring someone that she would like to a dance. So the whole thing kind of blows up, and it becomes like this major thing in the news and media because they're fighting against this. It just sounds really, really good and really heartwarming, and I'm really looking forward to reading this one. The next book that I have is The Museum of Heartbreak by Meg Leader. I picked this one up because the description said that you would enjoy it if you're a fan of Jenny Han's To All the Boys I Loved Before and P.S. I Still Love You books, which I totally am, so I figured that I would check this one out. I also really like the cover. I think it's very cute. It follows a girl named Penelope who has kind of curated a collection of all of the things that remind her of her past heartbreaks. So it's about her dealing with that and getting through it and learning to try to let go of the past and hopefully finding something in this book that will lead her into her future. Then I have Serafina and the Twisted Staff by Robert Beatty. This is a new book. It's the second book in the Serafina series. The first one is Serafina and the Black Cloak. It's a New York Times bestseller, and it takes place at this haunted seeming estate called The Biltmore Estate. I haven't actually read the first one yet, but I have really wanted to do so, and I've heard really great things about it. Like I said, it's a New York Times bestseller, so I think that this summer I'm going to try to read the first book and then read the second book because it just looks really good. It's a middle grade story too, so for anybody that wants something on that end, you should check it out. Then I have Summer Days and Summer Nights, which is edited by Stephanie Perkins, and it has stories by Leigh Bardugo and Veronica Roth and Nina LaCour and Lev Grossman and a ton of other authors that I really, really like. It's the same kind of book as My True Love Gave to Me, which is like the winter version of this. This is the summer version. And I just love summer stories, so I feel like this is going to be really good. I'm looking forward to reading it. I probably won't read this like all in one. I'll probably like take breaks between each story, and I might spend the summer like reading a little bit of each time. And then it has yellow end pages, which I really like, and it's the UK edition, which I ordered from Book Depository. Then I have Girl Against the Universe by Paula Stokes. This book follows a girl named McGuire who believes that she is really unlucky. Her family gets into an accident and she's the only one who survives, and then she just thinks that like she takes responsibility and she feels like it's her fault that everything has happened, and she wants to protect other people. She doesn't want to put anyone else in danger, so she kind of becomes scared of leaving her house because she just doesn't want to put anyone into a bad situation. And it sounds really good. It's going to be dealing a lot with loss and trying to move on and trying to live your life. And it just sounds really, really good. I've heard really good things about it. Next, I have Maybe Someday by Colleen Hoover. This is actually my first Colleen Hoover book that I've ever purchased. I've never read anything by her. I know people love her. Some people hate her. I guess it depends on the story. I've heard that they're kind of hit or miss, but this one has gotten good reviews, so I figured that I would give this one a shot. It follows a girl who finds out that her boyfriend was cheating on her, and then she like forms a crush on her next door neighbor, and it's a love story. So it sounds really cute. It's new adult though, so it's going to be for anybody who is a little bit older and more mature. Then I picked up the first 3 books in the Merlin series, which is The Lost Years, The 7 Songs, and The Raging Fires. I've never read any of the Merlin books. I think that they look really good and I love magic, so I found them on Book Outlet. They were really reasonably priced, so I decided to just add them to my cart and pick them up, and I will probably read these closer to the fall. Then, as I've said many times on my channel, I really, really loved Ken Dare Blake's Anna Dressed in Blood duology, so I decided to upgrade my copies to hardcovers. So I have Anna Dressed in Blood and I have Girl of Nightmares. These are just the hardcover versions. It is a good book for anybody who likes the TV show Supernatural. It follows a demon hunter who goes around the country to get rid of ghosts, and it's just really, really, really good. The writing is just so pretty, which is unusual because it's a horror series, but it's really good. I think I might actually reread these in October because they were amazing. Then I have American Girls by Alison Umminger. This book follows a girl who steals her stepmom's credit card, runs away to LA, and becomes someone that works on like movie sets and TV sets, and she gets involved in a project where she starts researching all of the girls who became the followers of Charles Manson, and she begins to find similarities between them and herself in the sense that she is kind of lost and she doesn't know what she's doing. She doesn't know what she wants to do, and it's just about her and like her self-discovery over this summer living in LA. Then I got Bloodline by Claudia Gray. This is not a sequel to Lost Stars, which was the first Star Wars book that she wrote. I actually am in the middle of reading that one and it's really good so far. This book is all about Leia, so I'm really, really excited about that. It says in the years before Star Wars The Force Awakens, so I guess that it takes place after the events of the first trilogy, so that's good to know, because before I was like, I don't even know what timeline this takes place in, but it's one of the new books, so it's officially Star Wars canon, which is exciting, and I just love Princess Leia, so how could I not get this book? Then lastly, I got this Barnes & Noble edition of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I really like their Barnes & Noble hardcover classics, so anytime they come out with new ones, I always kind of like stalk their website and just see what's new and exciting, and I pick them up anytime that I get a Barnes & Noble coupon. So this was one of the most recent ones to come out that I am now adding to my collection. So those are all of the books that I got in May and June, minus all of the books that I got at BEA, which you can see in my other video. So yeah, these are all the things that I picked up. Let me know if there's anything in this pile that you think that I should move to like the top of my TBR because you think that it was really good, and hopefully you found something new in here that you hadn't known about before that you can add to your own TBR. So that's all I have for this video, and I will see you guys soon with a new one. Bye!